Leng?
Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, the world has been facing a global energy crunch since September last year. The price of LNG, or spot liquefied natural gas, rose significantly and remains elevated at more than 3 times the levels as at the start of 2021. While our pipe natural gas supply typically helps to moderate the impact from higher LNG prices, there was a series of disruptions and planned depletions to our PNG supply since the second half of 2021. Now, this confluence of factors has resulted and has caused increased volatility in the wholesale electricity prices. Since October 2021, the EMA, or the Energy Market Authority, has implemented a set of measures to enhance Singapore's energy security and stabilize the SWEM, or the Singapore Wholesale Electricity Market prices. Nevertheless, some market participants were adversely affected by the volatility. Between October and December of 2021, 6 electricity retailers exited the market, and another 2 retailers prematurely terminated some of their customers' contracts. As a result, about 9% of all electricity consumer accounts were affected. All affected households and businesses with an average monthly consumption of less than 4 megawatt-hour can switch to SP, or Singapore Power's regulated tariff at any time. Some businesses consuming 4 megawatt-per-hour or more managed to secure plans with other retailers. Now, there remains about 11,000 business consumer accounts, accounting for about 1% of consumers, which have to buy electricity directly from the Singapore Wholesale Electricity Market, or SWEM, and are thus exposed to more volatile electricity prices. To help these businesses, EMA worked with the generation companies, or GenCos for short, to offer monthly fixed price plans under the Temporary Electricity Contracting Support Scheme. We call it TREX for short, in January this year. That's last month. The TREX plans were fully subscribed for January. For the month of February, the initial offering of TREX was also fully subscribed. In response to requests for more such contracts, EMA worked with GenCos and electricity retailers to offer about 645 megawatts of TREX and other plans with significant fixed price components. At least 200 megawatts of the contracts are still available, and we are extending TREX for March, for April, and May. We encourage all consumers without a retail plan to consider taking up these contracts for greater certainty. Now, Mr. Speaker, let me now turn to the issue of electricity prices. Singapore imports all of our energy and cannot be fully insulated from developments in the global energy market. Well, let me make a correction. Singapore imports our energy, a vast majority of our energy, not all of our energy. We still have some from solar. Now, the higher fuel prices feed into our electricity bills to reflect the higher costs of electricity production. As I mentioned during the COS, or the Committees of Supply debates last year, we had been enjoying artificially low electricity prices for several years because this is due to an overinvestment in capacity and fuel by the generation companies. I've also alluded to the fact that that was below the cost of generating electricity, and thus it was not sustainable. In fact, if members of the House remember, I also put up a chart that clearly demarcated and showed that the cost of generation was higher than the electricity tariff at that point in time. So an electricity price correction was therefore unavoidable. And the current global energy crunch has precipitated and exacerbated this correction. Now, again, members of this House would have asked, what help is therefore available for the affected businesses? Household and small consumers which need help with their electricity bills can apply to SP services for installment payment plans. Businesses which need financing support can also make use of ESG programs such as the Temporary Bridging Loan and Enterprise Financing Scheme SME Working Capital Loan. The 11,000 or so business accounts without a long-term retail contract bear the brunt of the electricity crunch. To help them weather the storm, EMA has worked with GenCos and electricity retailers to reduce the volatility and lower the cost of buying electricity through TRECs. Additional monthly contracts offered by GenCos and on the wholesale market for businesses, as I had mentioned earlier. For example, Samcor Power Private Limited is offering 1-month fixed price plans at preferred rates to consumers with average monthly consumption of between 4 to 8 megawatt hour. EMA will continue to monitor closely market developments, including heightened geopolitical tensions and their potential impact on global energy prices, and put in place the necessary measures to secure our energy supply, enhance stability, and ensure the orderly functioning of the market. Mr. Speaker, Singapore has an open and competitive electricity market where prices will rise and fall depending on demand and supply conditions and developments in the global energy market. Over the last 20 years, our energy market has served us well. Our electricity supply is one of the most reliable and price competitive amongst major developed cities. Our energy market is now being tested by unprecedented shocks and volatility in the global energy markets. Nevertheless, we are committed to ensuring that Singapore's energy supply remains secure and reliable, and to supporting our vulnerable customers during this period. My only exhortation and urging is that for all consumers to use energy prudently and to adopt energy conservation as a way of life. We will also learn from this episode to see how we can further strengthen and fortify our energy reliance, resilience, and our electricity market. And I'm confident that together we will emerge from this stronger. Thank you very much.